You know where else they're panicking about Joe Biden and the numbers? Young people. So guess who they decided to tap into to bring out the young people?
Way.
Debra Messing. Now, if you don't remember her from 2020, she was top shit lib along with Alyssa Milano and George Takei on Twitter when we were fighting.
Well, she blocked me a long time ago, and she like fell off the face of the earth. Like, she did me a great favor by blocking me because I haven't seen none of her shit. But if you guys don't know who she is the absolute worst, unhinged class warrior on behalf of the establishment. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, so along the lines of Biden propaganda, so they're trying a bunch of things, and this is one of them. She also has a podcast, I believe, that she's trying to do. But anyway, I have it in the point of the interview where they come and she basically says, Mika says, this is the most important election of our life. She literally says that. She's going to say that. And then she basically poses a question on, basically the answer is young people need to give up all the other things they believe in and just use this issue, which is they're using abortion. This should be your number one issue to vote, which means you should be voting for Joe Biden. Forget all your other issues, climate change, war. That's her answer. So they're pushing this level of Biden propaganda on our youth. This is it. Listen to this.
Of building a coalition for I'm a Voter, and I dove in and we just sat on the floor and we just got to work. I mean, I've been working on campaigns since 2004. I have knocked on endless doors and done phone banking, and I really connected to the change that voters want to see. I'm a storyteller, and I really believe in the importance of narrative change. And so I want to use my experience to try and reimagine civic engagement and to inspire people to use their voices.
So, Debra, let me jump on that, what you just said. The 2024 election is shaping up to be, I don't know, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. I mean, democracy's on the ballot.
Of course.
For you, what's the number one issue that is top of mind for this election cycle?
I don't think there's anything more urgent than abortion.
Now, let me say this, because the angle that we're taking with this is that we don't want you to think, I don't want you to think that I'm minimizing abortion. But when people can't fill their cars up, people can't put food on their table, people are having to move in with cousins on top of cousins. You're finding 8 and 9 people in a 2-bedroom house because they can't afford rent. I'm sorry. Other issues like abortion, even issues that are high on my priority, like defund the police, that's simply not a top priority. It is simply not. Go ahead.
Yeah, to that point, CJ, and I want Dr. Cornel West to understand this too. People need to understand that one issue does not cancel out other issues. So Dr. Cornel West said this to Jimmy. He said this to Sabby as well. He said, how do you feel about your LGBTQ brothers and sisters? What about women that's under threat to abortion? And remember what we said we are post-duopolist. Both parties serve evil. They may serve evil in different purposes. So your response to that is, yes, Republicans are off on this issue with abortion because they believe in government overreach. The same way they're going after our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. That's why the Democrats is bad. I mean, that's why the Republicans is bad. Now, Democrats is bad because they're coordinating with social media companies to crack down on free speech. They are building cop cities. Now, you build the fucking shit. Yeah, this is why Republicans is bad. Republicans is bad because of abortion. Now, Democrats are bad because they support war. So we supposed to ignore the fucking right side, the Democrat bad side because of the Republican bad side? That's absurd. And that's the argument that we got to tell these people. Yes, Republicans are bad on social issues. Yes, they are authoritarians regarding these issues because they believe the big government should be a nanny state and tell people what to do with their bodies and how they live their life. But the Democrats are too because they believe in mandates. So Republicans don't believe in your body, your choice. The Democrats don't believe in your body, your choice. You can't have one issue cancel other issues out. That's what it means to be morally consistent. But anyway, I'll spare you guys.
No, that's perfectly put, and let's continue to clip because the main focus of why I wanted to play this is what the other woman says about why you should be voting. basically forget all of your issues and make this your issue. It is such an argument that only benefits the ruling class. So let's listen.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do at this point?
No, go ahead.
I'll let the video continue. But like, even if you vote Democrat, what's going to happen? If you vote Democrats, abortion rights is still gone in Missouri.
Right.
Like, you got to know abortion is gone here, essentially. And this is why liberals need to rethink their U.S. exceptionalism. This is why it makes no sense that they are pro-U.S. propagandists. You guys, you want to know who's allowed to have abortions? Russia. You know that authoritarian state? Russia, you're allowed to have abortion where the fuck you can have abortion. Now, I won't say wherever that's misleading, but they allow abortions. In Missouri, that shit's gone. In Russia, they give you 180-day paid child maternity leave. So they give you a real choice. There's no choice in this country. So Russia say, hey, if you want to be a parent, we're going to give you 180 days. We're going to give you historic child maternity leave so you are able to do that. And if you're not ready, you can have an abortion. The United States say, in Missouri, for one, you're not allowed to plan your family and have an abortion. And then we're going to force you to have a kid. And then despite the fact that we're going to force you to have a kid, no child maternity leave. Get your ass back to work. I don't know who's going to take care of my kid. I don't have child makers. I can't afford child care. We don't give a fuck. We just want that child to be traumatized, and we're going to recruit him to the army anyway. That's the plan. So what country is more unhinged? And this is why I challenge liberals to rethink their U.S. exceptionalist ideology. But anyway, I'm ranting. Go ahead, CJ.
No, those are some good rants, though. But let's get back to the clip. Let's listen.
It is incredibly alarming. It keeps me up at night. But I still have hope. 20 states have banned abortion or restricted the procedure earlier in the pregnancy than what was mandated by Roe v. Wade. And the fight for access is still happening in the courts. But in the last few months, we have seen a reversal of that trend at the state level. An example is what just happened in Ohio. So I think we have an incredible opportunity at the local, the state, the federal level to reverse this horrible encroachment on our bodies and to remind people of their power and to encourage them to get out and vote and to tell them how critical it is because actual lives are at stake.
Mandana, you've said that voter participation is one of the few direct measures that we have for social cohesion, the health of our society, and how we're connected as a community. Tell us about that. And do you have a call to action for our viewers?
The call to action is what we want to listen to. The call to action.
That was actually based on so many incredible studies that have come out. And I guess it does make sense, right? I think voting is one of the most impactful ways that we show up for members of our community. Voting was never meant to be this singular self-interested thing where we only vote on the issues that impact us when they impact us.
You notice a trend, Nick, that the professional managerial class keeps describing voting like this is not about anything for your community. You have to vote for somebody else. You notice that the professional managerial class I'm hearing this more and more and more. But go ahead, Nick, if you were going to say something.
Yeah, well, see, and how does that serve us? Like, whenever you guys see them, these liberals say something, you should be saying, like, man, my immediate reaction is to do the exact opposite. But who's repeating this? People like Sam Cedar and the progressive left. Emma Vigeland. Voting is not about your feelings. It's not about accomplishing anything. It's about a civic duty to give more power to our oppressors for some reason. God knows how they rationalize it. But this is what liberals and Democrats do. This is where movements go to die in the Democratic Party. They die in the Democratic Party because Democrats, they ease up these people like, we should have health care. We should have workers' rights. We need to end the war. We need to do all these things. Then they give them badass fucking advice how to do it. They purposely, and now Bernie Sanders and progressives are more happy to fulfill that role. But go ahead, CJ. You can continue.
Yeah. So let me play her full answer, and then we can move to the one more clip. Unless you had another receipt here.
Measures that we have for social cohesion, the health of our society, and how we're connected as a community. Tell us about that. And do you have a call to action for our viewers?
Yeah, thank you. That was actually based on so many incredible studies that have come out. And I guess it does make sense, right? I think voting is one of the most impactful ways that we show up for members of our community. Voting was never meant to be this singular, self-interested thing where we only vote on the issues that impact us when they impact us, right? Like, we're supposed to vote for the issues and freedoms of our friends and our neighbors and our community.
Did you want to stop?
Citation needed. Because she said voting has never been this thing where we vote for our interest. Citation needed. Citation needed. Because CJ, when have the rich, when have the ruling class ever voted their power away? Like, oh, this is something that we should do. We should do this and get rid of our power because of the good of our society. Absolutely not. The ruling class is laser focused on the class war, and it will never move and budge an inch. Even when they got enough money where they can live hundreds and thousands of lives on, still won't give an inch. It's the workers who are supposed to give an inch. It's insane ideology, but let's continue.
Abortion should be an issue that men vote on. You know, Debra worked on equal marriage for 10 years. And, you know, when you think about this backdrop of rampant misinformation, the polarization of people on social media.
Why is it people in community for abortion rights, why is it that you can frame abortion that men should be this should be a top issue for men, but when people on RBN say defund the police should be a top issue for white people, why is that a problem? I'm just saying, like, why do issues that impact us disproportionately, we're not to talk about that, but men are supposed to do this? I'm not saying that's not the right answer. I'm just simply, why isn't the same application to things that affect us? Why isn't that the same application? Because these same people who are saying, hey, we believe the same thing, we might not agree on some things, but this, come on, they're telling us to have solidarity, not unity. They want us to come regardless of what our beliefs. They want us to say, so but they don't return that to us.
Yeah,
these
unity.
People in community, they don't return this standing with you on an issue that is a priority for you, not necessarily for me. Stand with me for that, but you're not willing to stand with us on anything.
That's such a great point. That's a point that you guys have to remember. And that's why I have disdain for the progressives, Bernie Sanders, and Democrats in general. There's no conversation. There's no relationship here. They demand unity. They demand us to be unified with you. Oh, come on, CJ. Stop causing drama. Stop calling these people out. CJ, they demand unity without giving solidarity. So these same people that want RBN to tone down, for instance, nowhere to be found with RBN mutual aid events. Nowhere to be found at Worker Strike Back, where I gave a speech on. So instead of reaching out by helping us in our activities, and that's how they generally should treat the left, instead of doing that, they're like, no, you fall in line behind us, behind our pro-police policy, behind our pro-military industrial complex policies. But that's a great point, TJ. Let's continue.
Yeah, let me just let her finish her answer. I just don't want to cut her off because she may say a couple of good things there, but let's listen.
You know, the lack of trust and faith right now in political institutions and information, we are more than ever going to need to rely on trusted resources like our friends to get us information.
You hear the ruling class, and understand what is being said on Morning Joe is for and by the ruling class. Understand that. Listen to what she just said here. I'm going to rewind it and see if you caught it. 15 seconds.
Misinformation, the polarization of people on social media, you know, the lack of trust and faith right now in political institutions and information, we are more than ever going to need to rely on trusted resources like our friends.
They're saying basically, we understand. We see the polls. What we're saying in these things, it's not having zero effect. So we need to propagandize regular Americans to go propagandize their friends. That's what she's saying.
Yep. And that worked for a very long time. It's still working for the Gen Z for Change and Sunrise movement people we get to here soon. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, and I think she finishes up in 10 seconds or less. And let's listen here.
To get us information. And so I do think this is an important moment to just reflect on the people that you care about and how you can do more every single day to show up for those people and to advocate for their rights. Because, like, democracy isn't something that just happens once every 4 years. It really is every single day.
Register a friend.
Register a friend is what it's like. This is
They're giving us
it's like,
homework.
hey, yeah, yeah, we know you. We know Joe Biden. We can't get you to vote for Joe Biden in merit. So peer pressure your friends to come out and for Joe Biden. I wish somebody would. Hey, let's go vote for Joe. I wish one of my family members would do that.
That
to
would
me. Go
cause
ahead, Nick.
that would cause massive relational harm. The relational harm. Nigga, like nigga, let's vote for Biden.